much. And I completely forgot to go get a bottle of water first. So we are going to walk and do that first. So we're going to be looking into why do people love you so much. There's many reasons why you might be here today to watch this video. I love doing these ones because they really lift people up and make them feel special, loved, cared about. And it really brings good vibes into their life. So I really hope you guys enjoy this video. And if you do, don't forget to support the channels I have on here. I really appreciate it when you guys do. And thank you guys so much for whatever you guys do to support my channels, whether it be liking, sharing, commenting, subscribing, timestamps, donations, super thanks stickers, super chat, all that kind of stuff. Anybody who has purchased anything for me off my wish list on Amazon, anything like that, guys, everything that you guys do really does help me out so much, and all of it really brightens my day as well. I'm going to sit this for just a minute. So, anyway, let's get into this reading about why others love you so much. And I have my little happy thoughts book here as well. I'm going to read a passage randomly for each one of you out of the book. Hi, beautiful. Nice to see you this morning, Rashima. I hope you're doing good. Thank you. I hope I will have a beautiful day too. So, and you're sending it to me right now, so it's definitely going to happen. Thank you for the like as well. Happy thoughts. Pile 1. Why do others love you so much, Pile 1? My natural state is happy. We got this beautiful gorilla, so you may want to look up gorilla symbolism. My natural state is happy. People love you because it seems like the natural state that you love to be in and the natural state that you usually vibrate in, 233, is a very happy one. You are somebody who overcomes obstacles with peace and ease, or at least it seems that way. You may have to fight through them like everybody else, but generally you are able to get back to that happy state of being and that positive vibration and that positive mindset very easily. Somebody here could be 52 years old as well. So this could be something, and if you're not, or if you are, this could be something that you had to work really hard at throughout your life as well, that you gained a lot of wisdom over the years to find that happiness inside of you so that you're in a more abundant vibration and a more happy vibration on a regular basis. The secret of happiness is not to expect. That's the other thing too. You've learned not to expect, not to allow yourself to place expectations on every situation or purpose or person, to not have to control everything that's going on. You've really learned how to be okay with things being the way that they are and going with the flow and allowing things to unfold naturally when it comes to situations with people or situations with work or even situations with your children or whatever it may be. You're able to approach it with a patient, joyful expression of energy because you're not expecting it to be anything other than what it is. So, for pile 1, what do people love about you? For whoever chose this pile, you might actually be here as well because maybe you have had somebody recently that has in some way pulled away from you or has disappeared in some way or has said some things to you that might be a little bit sharp in some way. This person might not have felt like you understood what they were going through. They may have felt like you didn't get what they were saying in some way, or they could have even felt like they're going through a lot right now themselves, and it's really hard sometimes when they're around you to go through things like that, because either it seems like you don't, or it seems like you get through them very easily, or they may actually at times not feel like they're handling the situations very well when you're around because of how well you handle them. So some of you could actually be here today because you are kind of almost seeking validation in a way, because somebody may have hurt you in some way recently by moving away from your energy or disappearing on you, or saying some things to you about what they're going through and how they just can't have you around right now. So, 41. Dreamy, imaginative, creative, romantic. Extrovert, open-minded, versatile, talkative. So people love you because you are very open. You feel comfortable around people. People feel comfortable around you. You're very good at communication. You're very non-judgmental, open-minded. You like to hear people's ideas, their thoughts, what they think about things, how they feel about things. You love to talk to people, and you may even really enjoy going out. You might be the life of the party in some way. You're somebody that's very dreamy. You have a very big imagination. You're very creative. You're very romantic. You love life, and you love people. Some of you for this pile could actually be a poet as well. You might actually do like cowboy poetry. Some of you might do cowboy poetry. You're very protected in your communication as well, and you know that, so you're very confident in your communication. You guys got this here. So some of you could definitely be very Western in your expression, maybe even steampunk or like modern Western in some way. You guys could like to make crafts as well. You might like to do beadwork, or you may make necklaces or belts. Some of you could even make rings as well for this pile. So, like jewelry making, things like that could be something that people really love about you as well. So, see what else we got here. We got Mabon. This is the Book of Shadows Tarot. And this is the As Above deck. I use the So Below deck a bit more, but this is the As Above deck. So this deals with more spiritual-based entities and things. Crone of Fire. People love how skilled you are in your creative pursuits as well. You may be very skilled in your creative pursuits. You may have spent a lot of time building them up. You may have a lot of success in those pursuits. They really feel like you're very down to earth when it comes to these things too. They love the wisdom and knowledge that you share with others. When it comes to, you may teach a lot of people how to do some of the things that you do. You may spend a lot of time with people, really helping them to overcome or face some of their challenges. You may help them to make peace with themselves. You may help them to accept and love themselves for all that they are, not just the light, but the shadow too. Because each and every one of us has both that shadow side and that light side. By the way, I was drawing last night, and I was using permanent marker, and I got some of it on my nails, and I was like, ooh, I'm going to color all my nails. It's not as permanent as it says it is, so it's just around the edges of them now. The elements. So you guys are a very skilled spiritual worker. You guys are a very skilled spiritual leader. You have a lot of knowledge. And not just a lot of knowledge, because you have read up a lot on it. You have delved into it a lot. But you're not like a lot of those people who just read up on it, or who just look at the surface level of it and then start talking about it like they know something. You are somebody that actually takes a very hands-on approach. You go out and you take the initiative, 41 again, and 47, to actually learn those things, to grow those things, to build those things. You're a very stable person, a very committed person, a very loyal person. You have a lot of self-love, and so you are able to pour a lot of love on other people around you. You're able to be in a very positive vibration and joyful vibration a lot, 10-10, because of how much you have worked on yourself. And because you have faced your own shadows and you've accepted them, you've loved them into life. And not only have you done that with yourself, you've done that with a lot of people. A lot of people who felt like they were evil may see themselves in a completely different light now because of you, 21. You've been through a lot of the rites of passages when it comes to these things. And you're not still stuck in that state of everyone's evil and we have to run away from them all. And we can't protect ourselves against them, so we need to get out of there. And whatever else the case may be, you know better. You know that when you love and nurture a wild dog that has been neglected, orphaned, left to fend for himself, and is now wild and rabid, 11-11, and then there's 1 and 1 for the likes and people in here. So, yeah, you're very aligned, very much so on your spiritual path, very much divinely guided. You know that when you find that rabid dog like that, the only thing that's going to help that rabid dog is loving it, regardless of the rabidness. Showing it that it's okay. Building that trust. Building that respect. Building that love and that care. And when it occasionally lashes out at you in ways, yeah, it might get in trouble, or yeah, you might be upset with it. But at the end of the day, you still love that dog. And you still care for it. And you're still kind to it and patient with it. And dedicated to what you're working on with it. Some of you in this pile could actually be a vet too, or work with a lot of animals. And so people absolutely love those parts of you. Those parts of you that know the real way to breed love, trust, respect, loyalty, commitment, dedication. Because you don't breed it through fear and intimidation. You don't breed it through beating on people or animals. You don't breed it through walking away because it's too hard, or walking away because they lash out, or whatever the case may be. And yes, sometimes we all do have to do that in our lives. And sometimes we are not necessarily the one for the job, and you're okay admitting that. That maybe you aren't the one that should be there doing that. I feel like you're very respectful of people's wishes as well. So if people tell you they want something, you're going to listen to them and you're going to follow through on it. You also speak from a very truthful and authentic place as well. See the truth. You see the truth of who people are. When somebody's hurt, okay, say a child. A child's been very neglected. And a child has a single parent. And that parent's working all the time. And they're going to school, and they got a school project. Say it's a school project day. And everybody made a project for school. And they didn't really have much help on theirs. So theirs already looks worse than everybody's there. And they don't have any friends because they're always getting into trouble because they're always acting out. They're kind of fairly invisible unless they're, throwing a big fat fit. So everybody's looking at them when they're throwing a big fit. But they're also labeled as the bad kid because of it. And they're sitting there with their project all alone. Because their parents working. They only have one of them. She's got to work, or he's got to work to take care of them. To provide for them. And they wish they could be there, but they can't. And then you got the other kids around them that have their parents there. Their friends there. They got big groups around their project. Say you're one of the parents that are down there for that project, 42. You're going to go step up in front of that kid's booth. And you're going to let them present their project to you, and you're going to sit there and tell them how much you love their project and how beautiful you think it is. You're going to go out of your way to make sure that that kid feels loved, because you know at the end of the day, that's what that kid needs. Even if that kid is acting out and throwing a fit and getting into trouble all the time. That's the reason why they are. So doing more of that isn't going to help it any. You're a very wise person, and people love that. Heed your dreams. You heed your dreams, you heed your visions. You listen to what your intuition tells you. You listen to your insight and your awareness. You listen to the dreams of others as well, and you believe in yourself. You believe in your purpose. You believe in what it is that you want to do. If none of you have ever heard Jacob Lee Conscience, you should go listen to that song. He says something in there about we have these dreams for a reason. They wouldn't be put there if they weren't meant to be. You follow those dreams when they're put there. Hear the ancient ones. You may be somebody who believes in your ancestors. You may commune with them very regularly. You're very in touch with your heart. Because I just was thinking about Grandmother Willow when she's singing, listen with your heart, you will understand. Let it break upon you like the waves upon the sand. You may cloud gaze a lot too. You are somebody that gives a lot of beauty, nurturing, care, and guidance to the world and the people around you. You pour a lot of love onto this earth and its inhabitants. Change is unavoidable. The only variable is rate. Or a prophet metamorphosis. You're trying to bring a change to this world. You're trying to enlighten people, raise the consciousness of people, raise the awareness of people and the empathy of people, not lower it by telling them not to listen to their empathy or to believe that it's a bad thing in some way. You're trying to bring peace, and you're having a lot of success at bringing peace into a lot of people's lives. A lot of people are very grateful to have you in their life, and a lot of people hurt when you're gone. Remember the power that you hold. Remember the words that you wield are very important, and they really affect the people around you. So, people love the person that you are because you're a guiding light in those dark times, because you are a ray of sunshine on a cloudy day, because you are water in the desert when they feel like there's no hope left in their life. And people do see you for who you are, whether you believe it or not. You contemplate things, you think about things, you really dive deeply into things. And when it comes to people, and when it comes to animals, everything they're going through is very important to you. You may also change a lot. You may change with the seasons very easily, because you're somebody who is very able to go with the flow. You think you own whatever land you land on. The earth is just a dead thing you can claim. But I know every rock and tree and creature has a life, has a spirit, has a name. If you walk the footsteps of a stranger, you'll learn things you never know you never knew. You walk the footsteps of a stranger. You don't shy away from it out of fear. You don't reject it. You don't judge it. You like to see, and you like to see clearly. So you like to learn about it, you like to understand it, and you like to get to the bottom of it. So that's what I have for pile 1, guys. Let me know what you thought about it in the comments, whether or not it resonated, what you might be going through, whether or not you feel like this is who you are. And I really enjoy having you guys here. Thank you guys so much for whatever support you bring my way, whether it be liking, sharing, commenting, subscribing, leaving timestamps, donations, hitting the little super thanks button. Anybody who purchases on Amazon for me, really appreciate all of you guys. Everything that you guys do is so fucking beautiful, and I love it. I hope you guys have a beautiful night or day, whatever it is, wherever you are when you're watching. Bye-bye, guys. So, for pile 2, we have this necklace, which, by the way, I would never wear. And there's nothing wrong with it. I've seen a lot of people that wear those kind of necklaces, and honestly, generally, the aesthetics that they have with the rest of their appearance and presentation fits very well with it. It does. But that is definitely not my style. It is on the exact opposite spectrum of my style. You could actually have a very different style from a lot of the people around you as well. You may have a very sophisticated style, a very elegant style, very classy. You may really like to dress things up a lot, including yourself at times. You may really like to dress yourself up at times. And actually, we had these fall out too. Some of you may be an interior decorator for this pile. You may be very good with feng shui. You may be very good with putting things in just the right place. You might be really good at getting things to fit together and finding out what works together and really putting things together in a very beautiful way. Snow White's coming to mind a little bit too. You could be very soft-spoken in a lot of ways. You may not cuss very much. You may be somebody that's very soft-spoken, very well-mannered, very respectful, 33. You could be somebody that could definitely sit at a very formal dinner party. You might have even went to like finishing school in some way or something along those lines. I can do those things, and actually I really enjoy dressing up, but it would still, even if I dressed up for an event like that, would be a very different style than what you got. I'm getting, for some reason I was just picturing Lumiere and the maid. So people may really like that you play hard to get in some ways, or they may really like that they have to work very hard to have a relationship with you in some way. They may also really like that you are not offended by their teasing nature or their playful nature or by some of the things that they say that other people may be offended by. You may be somebody that doesn't get offended very easily. So even though you're somebody that's very respectful, very polite, kind of soft-spoken, well-spoken, you don't really cuss a whole lot, things like that, you can also sit right next to a sailor and you're going to treat him the same way as you would the CEO. And people love that about your nature. And for some of you guys, even though you are that kind of classy, well-mannered, good-natured type of person, they do say opposites attract a lot of times. And what's coming to mind right now is Uptown Girl. She's been looking for a downtown man. Some people could appreciate and love the fact that you're looking to have a little bit of fun, that you're looking to really live your life in some way. You're looking to experience some new things, and you're very open to other cultures. What does that say on it? Circos? Chicos. Chicos. So for some of you, you could actually have like an interracial relationship as well. For some of you, people could love you because of the way that you treat your brother. There might be a brother in your life that's very special to you, and people could actually really love you for the way that you treat your brother. And people definitely love your transparency because you don't really have a whole lot of hidden motives. You have some very pure intentions the majority of the time. You're a very protected person too. There's a lot of people that would protect you. They would go to bat for you. They would fight for you. You may be somewhat pacifist when it comes to a lot of things too. You might be very strong and you may stand your ground very boldly when it comes to certain issues. When somebody really steps over the line, you are going to put your foot down and you're going to tell them. And most of you could probably look at somebody. This part does remind me of me because there was this time where I was working during cowboy poetry in Elko at the casino, and I was waitressing in the restaurant. Actually, I was waitressing and cashiering that night. And there was a lot of people in there. So I was like back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. So this table comes in with two couples. Sorry, no, one couple, and then two guys were on the other side. And so as I'm taking their order, the guy on the one side slapped my ass. And I just looked at him. Probably the way that his mother would have looked at him. And he instantly dropped his head down to his lap and he's like, I'm so sorry. I shouldn't have done that. I'm sorry. And everybody ordered their food and everything. When I came back to the table, his head instantly went back down into his lap because he felt so ashamed of himself for treating me that way and disrespecting me in that manner, because I was a lady who deserved to be treated with respect. Well, you know what? Everybody deserves to be treated with respect, and you shouldn't just treat them with respect because, you know, they're going to make you feel like a little schoolboy if you don't. But you could definitely be somebody that's all you got to do is just that one look. That one look. Do you really want to do this? Do you really want to play with me today? You know you don't want to do that. Go-getter, passionate, leader, charismatic, logical, balanced, temperate, and decisive. And like I was saying, you guys may be very soft-spoken, but people listen when you speak. Even if you speak at a very low speech, people listen when you speak because you speak very effectively. You speak very well. You are very good with communication. You're good at inspiring people as well. You're good at teaching people, I feel like, too. You'd be a very good manager. Some of you could actually be managing a business, or you might be running your own business. I just got a message that somebody I know and love is here watching this. So anyway, I love you, beautiful. Just to throw that out there. You guys are definitely somebody that a lot of people look up to. When you are in your light side, I feel like there's been times in your life where you've been in that shadow side, where you've kind of fallen into those insecurities, where some of you might have put on a little extra weight and you might have put on a little extra clothes and you might have toned down your own style, toned down your shine a bit. You may have like stepped back from the crowd a bit. You may have started having a hard time like going up and asking people for things or talking to people about certain things or putting yourself out there. You could have even questioned your intelligence at times. But each and every time that you've fallen into this energy, you have been able to pull yourself out of it. You have been able to make the healthy choices for yourself. You've been able to learn the things that you felt like you were lacking in some way, to where you could feel more comfortable doing whatever it was that you were doing at the time that might have been making you feel out of place or making you feel like you didn't belong in some way. You're very good at being able to build up your skills in different areas. You're very rational, logical, balanced as well. You are very good at making decisions. You could actually have somebody around you, or had somebody at some point around you, that could have made you feel like you were not good at making decisions, or they could have even been somebody that was extremely indecisive, and you could have spent all your time waiting for them to make a decision, or waiting for them to do something, or waiting for them to live up to what they were telling you that they were going to do, and they never did. Or they just kept disappointing you. But the love you felt for this person was so deep that you didn't want to leave them behind by following your goals and following your dreams, especially since they seemed like they would just be completely crushed and heartbroken if you went and did your own things instead of doing things with them in some way, or if you decided, you know what, if you're going to take 20 minutes to get out of the car, or if you're going to take 20 minutes to finish getting ready, I'm just going to take off and I'll meet you where we're going. Or I'm just going to head in the store now because I don't want to spend my whole entire fucking life standing around waiting, because everywhere we go and everything we do, you have to take forever. And there's nothing wrong with being somebody who's a fast person, somebody who wants to go and get up and move and do things. And it doesn't mean you can't still have those people around you, and it doesn't mean you can't still, everybody needs some downtime, right? Go have your downtime with them. And then you live your life and they live their life, and you guys both have that interdependent connection instead of the codependent one. So if you ever find yourself in a relationship or situation like that, remember that you need to be you and do what makes you happy for you. Because you're going to make everyone around you so much more happy, and you're going to make them feel so much more loved when you're feeling good. And when you're not doing the things that make you feel good because you don't want to leave someone out, or because you don't want to cause someone pain, or because you don't want to hurt someone's feelings, because you don't want to do everything that they're doing with them all the time, and you want to actually have other people in your life too, then you go into a very severe depression, and that leadership energy falls away, and you start to kind of turn into a shell of your former self, and your shine falls away. And a lot of times we like to blame that on the person, but we made the decision to be there, and we made the decision to be doing the things that we were doing, and we made the decision to set aside our own wants, our own needs, our own goals, our own lives, to make another person happy. So it's just as much our fault when things like that happen as it is other people. Anyway, a lot of you have grown up with parents who were kind of opposites as well, where, one of them could have been very rational, logical, balanced, structured, and the other one might be a little bit more wild, free, intuitive, emotional, passionate. And because you're half of both of those people, you have a lot of both of their qualities within you. So not only do you have this passionate, go-getter, fun-loving, energetic energy, you also have this rational, down-to-earth, grounded, balanced, logical decision-maker energy. And those are a lot of the things that go together very well within you that cause you to be this great leader that you are. I haven't even pulled your guys' tarot cards yet. Wow. The World. Ace of Fire. Ace of Air. Be honest. Be honest. What is it that you want? 331133. What is it that you want? Who is it that you are? Start dressing yourself the way you want to dress yourself. Start adorning yourself with the ornaments that you want to adorn yourself with. If somebody's been giving you a hard time about it or teasing you about it, and you might say that it doesn't bother you, there might even be people who have stepped in to defend you at times. 33, 33, and 44. And you might say that it doesn't bother you. You might say that it doesn't really matter if they say those things. You might say that they're just joking. Oh, they're just having fun. You might make a lot of excuses for the people around you. You can joke, and you can have fun, and you can enjoy yourself without it being at the expense of others. They don't have to make it at the expense of others. And somebody needs to let this person know, hey, when you say things like that, it really hurts my feelings. It hurts my feelings, and I don't like it. And I would really appreciate it if you would quit doing that. Because I like to wear these things. And you make me feel like it's not okay to wear these things. Or you make me feel like it's not okay to dress the way I'm dressing. Or do my hair the way that I'm doing my hair. Or you make me feel like it's not okay to love the things that I love and want to go to the places I want to go when you make those jokes about it. Oh, you're just being sensitive. No, I'm not just being sensitive. Anybody would feel that way. And anybody would. And people use that as a way to continue that behavior and to make you feel like you're the one to blame when that's going on. And there's no reason for that. So if they can't respect your wishes and treat you with that respect and talk to you in a more kind way, the way that you talk to them, then really, they don't need to have any say in what you're doing either. Why? Why would we let those people, because I've done it before in my life too, why would we let those people dictate how we're living our life? Those aren't the type of people that we want to be like. Those aren't the type of people that we want to be around. Those aren't the type of people that make people feel good and lift them up. Be honest. You were born to create. Somebody may even be making you feel bad about your creations in some way. Maybe you've written something and they kind of poked fun at you for whatever it was that you wrote. Or maybe they were very critical of it. And they may not even notice that they're being as harsh with their words. Or they may not even notice that making those little teasing remarks is hurting you. So that's why I was saying let them know too. Because sometimes they really don't know. Sometimes people don't understand that till you point it out. Respect your boundaries. You are somebody that's very respectful of others' boundaries. So once again, you definitely deserve people to be respectful of your boundaries. Choose your battles wisely, but there is definitely a need for you to stand up for yourself a little bit more. Speak up a little bit more. Be a little bit louder when it comes to addressing things instead of as passive. People really love you and they feel like you deserve more sometimes than what you allow to happen. And they would not have anything bad to say, most of them, if you stepped up and said something about it. Most of them would be cheering you on from the sidelines. Fuck yeah, that's what I'm talking about. It's about damn time you said that shit. I've been waiting for you to say that for fucking 5 years. 5 years now. I have been waiting for you to tell that person that when you say fucking no, that means no. That when you say fucking stop, that means stop. That when you're doing something, you would really appreciate it if they wouldn't push you. Or you'd really appreciate it if they could stop talking down on you. People love you and people feel like you just have this very angelic presence and this very beautiful energy. And you have the great potential inside of you to be a very great leader. To be one of the best leaders they've ever seen because they've seen that side of you at times. They've seen it come and go and come and go and come and go, you know? And they want to see more of it. They want to see you open up and they want to see you branch out and they want to see you explore and they want to see you free yourself from this other person's energy or these other people's energy that is holding you back and to be confident again. To be bold and daring again. To put your foot out there. And to go do the things you love doing and see the places you love seeing. People love your creativity. They love your passion. They love watching you regenerate. They love watching you come to life again. They love watching you light up and smile and laugh. And I feel like it's been a long time for a lot of people around you since they've seen you laugh at this time. Since they've seen you glow. Since they've seen you shine. Since they've seen you loving you. You may be very worried about a lot of things. You may be having a hard time sleeping. You may be thinking about your place that you live in, or you may be thinking a lot about a trip that you're going to be taking, or you may be thinking about a car that you own, or maybe even there could have been like an accident that happened or something to where you're thinking about how you're going to be able to replace that car, or whether or not the insurance company is going to come through, or you may be dealing with a lot of extra work at school if you're in school. And there may be a lot on your plate. you don't have to do everything all the time. You can just relax and take a break. And you can tell other people that, you know what, you need to step it up today because I'm tired and I need a break today. I do a lot for other people. And I deserve to have a break sometimes too, so it's your turn to step it up today. I've had to tell people that in my life before. And some of them will and some of them won't. But the thing is if you're not doing everything for everybody anymore, people are going to have to start doing something for themselves. Otherwise, it ain't going to get done. People love that you are going through this brand new beginning. They love that you are so great at closing out cycles, that you're successful. 44. You are worthy of praise. People feel like you are worthy of praise. They also feel like you're very honest as well. That you're very honest, truthful, and they also feel like you have a very big birth in front of you. There's going to be some amazing things coming to life in front of you because of your honesty and because you're deciding to put your foot down and step up, take the reins of your life, and no longer allow other people to lead you like you're sitting on a lead horse while they're pulling on the reins to guide you. So, for each pile, I am also going to randomly open up this book of happy thoughts. I've had this book since I was 10 years old, and it was actually pretty much perfect condition until the last year. With how rough I've been living, it has lost the cover and it's kind of fallen apart a little bit. But it's still here and I still love it, so we're still reading out of it. So see, I feel like a lot of you have been going through a lot of rough things and you've just been, because I didn't say nothing about that in the first pile, but also I feel like you feel the need to explain a lot of things a lot of times to people for why they are that way or for why you're doing them that way, because I feel like you feel very insecure sometimes about how you're doing things or why you're doing them or the way you're doing them and things like that. And I feel like a lot of it is because you have somebody around you in your ear all the time that is constantly critiquing the way you're doing or saying something snide or snarky about the way that you're doing it. And it's irritating when that's going on. Once you actually realize it, once you open your eyes and once you fucking notice it, it's very irritating. So I would take some time for you and a break for you and relax yourself and calm yourself down first before you address some of these people too when it comes to addressing them. Because sometimes we can lose our shit and go off the handle because it's like, wow. Glass shattering, illusions breaking. There are many ways of going forward, but only one way of standing still. Be happy and it will give you the energy to get what you want in life. People love that you're very happy. People love that you're kind of docile too. Once again, that you're usually okay with things and you're just kind of very go with the flow in a lot of ways. Patient, kind, soft-spoken. But there is a time for that hard side too. And I feel like people feel with this tree here, this is like a 200-year-old tree at least here that this koala is clinging onto. This is a very sturdy tree. A tree that is not easily shakeable. A tree that's very strong and steadfast. And a tree that isn't going to fall down just because of the birds that are pecking at it. So you have that strength within you to be able to do that as well. And to do it in a way that is not going to crush the people around you while still freeing you from that and allowing you to see the truth of who you really are. 44, 33, 44 on the screen. So here is the cards that came out for you guys. You may want to look up lizard symbolism too. And dragon symbolism, because we got 2 dragons out here. So that's what I got for you guys for pile 2. I hope you guys enjoyed this reading. I would love to hear what you guys have to say about it in the comments below, whether or not it resonated with you, what you might be going through, things like that. I always love to hear from you guys, especially when it comes to your stories or when it comes to the things that you're dealing with. It's a great way for you guys to be able to get it off your chest, and it's also a great way for others out there to see that they're not alone, that there's people feeling the same ways that they are. It brings peace in a lot of ways. And thank you guys for whatever support you send this way, whether it be liking, sharing, commenting, subscribing, leaving timestamps, donations, hitting that little super thanks button, purchasing from my Amazon wish list, whatever it may be that you guys end up doing to support this channel and to give back for the guidance I bring you here and the wisdom I bring you. It is so important in my life. I cherish it so much. And I am so appreciative of every single thing you guys do. You guys have no idea how much it impacts my world and how much I appreciate it. So thank you for that. And I really hope you guys have a beautiful night or day, whatever it is, wherever you are when you're watching. Bye-bye, guys. So, pile 3. For you guys. Let's see. In pile 3, why do others love you so much? Some of you guys could just like randomly burst out in song when you're walking around the house or something like that. It may not be something you do very publicly, or who knows, maybe you could. But a lot of you really enjoy singing, dancing, and just, some of you might actually even do like interpretive dance or like some sort of slow dancing. I mean, a lot of you could do the faster paced dancing and things like that too, but I'm seeing this like whimsical fairy in the forest, or like a siren coming up out of the water slowly and seductively. People love how beautiful you are. You're a very beautiful person. And when I say beautiful, I'm not talking about looks. When I say beautiful, your soul, your spirit, the beauty that is within you. What do you think of when you think of beauty? I think of things like diamonds, strength, authenticity, pressure creating something beautiful. A lot of you could have been through a lot in your life. Thank you, beautiful. I appreciate that. You're wondering if it will possibly keep your current job, if you should keep your job or go to the next one. I will answer that right after this pile. You might want to listen to pile 1 too. Just throwing that out there. Anyway, so people love you because of your simplicity. You may be somebody that is fairly happy in your life without very much. Somebody that has lived without a whole lot the majority of your life, so you have learned what is truly important, what truly matters to you. You have a very strong intuition, and you have a very strong connection to whoever it is that you pray to on the other side. You receive a lot of messages, a lot of guidance, and people feel like you are very highly aligned when it comes to those things. 911. People feel like they can call you in an emergency. People feel like you would be there if they needed you. Even if you guys are not on good terms at that moment in time, if they messaged you and reached out and they really needed something, you would be there. You have a lot of love in your heart. And it's a very unconditional love. It's a very pure love. And once again, you're a very simple person. And I'm not talking like unintelligent. You're very intelligent, but the simple things. Just a simple kind of man. Somebody that's very down to earth. You could definitely be somebody who's very good with homemaking as well. You might be somebody that is a stay-at-home parent, stay-at-home partner. You may be somebody who takes care of the home, makes the food and the beds, does the laundry and cleans the house and takes care of the pets or the kids and your partner. And I feel like if that's the case, your partner or partners you've had cherish you and value you so much because you are definitely one of a kind. They broke the mold when they made you because there is no other like you. You're very old-fashioned in a lot of ways. Say there was an apocalypse tomorrow, an apocalypse type of event where like all of a sudden we didn't have power and we didn't have water and we didn't have all the modern conveniences. They would have absolutely no doubt that they would still be able to make a very good and fairly comfortable life with you. A lot of you could have been through a lot of very severe poverty throughout your life, so you may know how to do a lot with very little. You may have a lot of very creative ideas when it comes to dealing with certain situations or being able to take care of certain things in certain situations. And I'll tell you what, when you're living with no power and no water and you're living with no anything like that, say you're living in your car like me or in an RV that isn't hooked up to anything or whatever the case may be, you got to remember that you're not cooking on a stove. You're not showering in a shower. You're not doing a lot of those normal everyday things that everyone else doesn't even realize. There's people who don't do those things. There's been people that have actually brought me food to cook before. One or two of them have been like, when they go to hand it to me, they're like, wait a second, can you cook? I can give it to somebody else, and you know what? They feed me sometimes, so I can give it to them. But no, I can't. But a lot of people don't even think about that or grasp that or realize that even. But when you're living in those situations, you learn a lot. You grow a lot. You become more creative. You become more understanding. You become less judgmental of others. You become a very strong person. You also become a person that people can rely on. And once again, a person that they know is going to be able to take care of things. Say if they died, or say if they weren't there for some reason, or say if they were sick or they broke their legs, or whatever the case may be. They know that you'll be able to take care of things. You'll be able to take care of yourself, and you'll be able to get by just fine. You're not somebody who's extremely codependent. And that's because you know from the life that you've lived that you will be just fine. Just like a weed can push up and grow through a crack in a sidewalk, and even the harshest of conditions and situations, you are somebody who blooms even in those situations. And you're somebody who handles hard situations very well with patience, kindness, and effectiveness, because you've had to deal with much worse most of the time than the big situations that are coming up in your life. It's kind of like how I've been handling everything recently. Part of it's because I've learned how to handle things better, but part of it's also because I've been through so much fucking shit in my life at this point that a lot of what I'm going through right now isn't even as bad as some of it, even with how much has been going on. So we have this beautiful little earring here as well. You may wear jewelry at times, and a lot of the jewelry that you may wear might be something a little bit flashy but modest at the same time. It's not going to be something that's going to be like a billboard sign blinking. I kind of enjoy doing some of that sometimes myself, but That's just my artistic expression within myself. And, you know, I love colors a lot of times, and weird and strange things a lot of times. But you may be somebody that really kind of is a little bit more low key when it comes to the way that you dress or the way that you do your hair. You might be somebody that has very long hair, and you may put it in a very similar style quite regularly. Like you might just do a messy bun, or you might do a side braid, or even a braid where you like wrap it up and pin it to your head, or things like that. Very like reliable, sturdy, stable kind of feeling to it, a comfortable and homey type of feeling to it too, and a very logical and rational way of doing it. Because, you know, say you got to get down and scrub the floor, or say you break down on the side of the road and you're going to have to get under the hood and put your belt back on, or something like that. Your hair's not going to be in the way. It's going to be up, it's going to be out of the way, it's going to be, you know, not getting stuck in things. You're not going to be ruining really nice clothes by having to take care of those things. And you know, there's a lot of those things that pop up. So I feel like a lot of you don't really put a whole lot of emphasis on things like that too. I mean, if you get a stain on your clothes, you're not going to flip out about it. You're not going to be super upset about it. You're just going to be like, well, you know, it wasn't something that costs that much anyway. Or, you know, if you're an artist like me, you're going to be like, hey, there's stuff on everything, it matches. Because honestly, there's a lot of times, most of the clothes that I own regularly have paint on them, or they end up with charcoal on it, or marker on it, or whatever on it, you know. Or say you're a mechanic and you're working with grease or something and you got grease on you regularly and things like that. I mean, you're not somebody that is superficial. You're somebody that realizes people work hard and people need to do the things that they got to do. You're not somebody who has like the perfect, well manicured hands and the perfect clothes that are never out of place with never a spot on them. You're somebody who can lay on the couch with all the animals and all their fur gets all over you and you don't care. Who cares? Because those are my animals and I love them. And I'm gonna fucking hug them. Everybody else can decide, oh, you can't be in the house, or I don't want you touching me because you got fur on you. But these are my animals and I love them. And that's the type of person you are. These are my kids and I love them. And who cares if they had sticky hands when they grabbed a hold of my hand? Or when they gave me hugs and kisses? Who cares if they got syrup on me? That doesn't matter. What matters is that the most beautiful little girl in the whole fucking world, or boy, just gave me kisses. And that I took a minute to give them kisses too, instead of acting like I didn't want them from them, because they're not perfect. So you don't have to have everything perfect. It's okay if things are a little chaotic sometimes. It's okay if things are falling apart a little bit sometimes. It's okay if things are up in the air sometimes. Because that's what life is. And you're good at making adjustments. You're good at adjusting your sails when you need to. Passionate, fiery, creative, innovative, loyal, loving, sweet, and caring. So people love that you're very loyal. People love your sweetness. Some of you could smell very sweet too. Some of you might actually make your own perfumes. I make my own perfumes, and it's really hard to even wear store-bought perfume now because all I can smell is chemicals. Like literally, that's all I can smell, chemicals. And that's because my perfumes don't have chemicals in them. They don't have preservatives in them. I use them fairly regularly, and I make small quantities of them so that I don't have to worry about them having things like that going on. And actually, if I'm making a bigger bottle of something that I might use longer, I put a couple drops of alcohol in it, and it keeps it from growing anything. But I don't like all the chemicals in there. So you're also somebody, you may be somebody that really likes to do things in a very natural way as well. You might be somebody who's into herbal magic. You may be somebody who's into herbal medicine, plant medicine. You may have a very nice garden for some of you as well, and you may put in a lot of work, time, and effort towards this garden. And I feel like if you do have a garden like that and you don't end up using all of it, I feel like a lot of you will actually take those things and donate them to places or leave them places that you know that there are homeless people that frequent regularly, because I once again really feel like a lot of you have come from a background with a lot of hardship and a lot of poverty in it. So you always think of those things when it comes to the excess that you may have in your life now, if you do. And if you don't, you will be coming into something like that too. Some of you could actually create inventions at times too. You may come up with some pretty cool fucking things, and people love those things that you come up with. They love your fiery nature. They love your passion. They love your vibrancy. They love that you ain't gonna take no shit off of nobody. You may be a very simple person. You may be a very easy to please person. You may be a very calm person and loyal person, because this is now also kind of reminding me of lavender a little bit. You may be very soothing, loving. But when it comes to the softest, sweetest, kindest mother in the world, that water energy like that, all of a sudden you could have a fucking hurricane on your hands, too. Or you could have a fire burning down the forest, or a volcano exploding. Because you're very passionate, very fiery, very feisty. You have a lot of emotion in you. And when you have a lot of emotion in you and you have a big heart, that's not just a lot of good emotion. That's a lot of emotion. And everything has both sides. So you got a lot of emotion on you and people love it. Some people may actually really love watching you when you're angry. For some people, it could definitely turn them on when you're angry. It may make them just, you know, their eyes might shine a little bit when they're watching this. Like, wow, look at that. Damn. So this is somebody, if there's somebody like that in your eyes or in your life that's looking at you like that, they've been able to accept and love that part in themselves too a little bit. And so they may be like that a little bit too. My mom and dad were both very much so like that, but they kind of hated it in each other, and they never would admit that they were anything like each other. Because I was always like, you guys are so much alike. It's no wonder you guys had such a hard time being around each other for too long of time periods and things like that, because you guys are so much alike. And sometimes that can be a really lethal combination when you're too much alike. When you're too different, it can be too, but it can definitely be when you're too much alike too, especially if you both got a lot of pride, because both of them had a lot of pride. So don't let pride get in the way in those situations either. Elemental of water, 7 of earth, and the 5 of air. People love how you handle a conflict. People love that you can debate very well. You are very intelligent, very quick on your feet, very quick-witted. You may be very good with your sense of humor, and you may be very witty and charming as well when it comes to things like that. If any of you does palm reading, they definitely love that portion of you. People love your hands in general. You have a worker's hands. You don't have perfect hands. You have hands that they can see that you have worked hard in your life. People really feel like you deserve the world. You're very patient. You're very consistent. You have a lot of faith as well. You have a lot of belief in yourself. You have a lot of belief in the universe. You have a lot of belief in your prayers. Some of you could be healers, and you could actually heal with your hands. Some of you may do healing massages. You guys do a lot of like homeopathic medicine, energetic medicine, plant medicine, things like that. And people love that. People love how watery you are. You can be very fiery at times. We've discussed that. But you're also very watery. You are very emotional, very intuitive, loving, sweet, kind, sensitive. People love that you're sensitive. So if anybody's ever been like, oh, you're just too sensitive, don't fucking listen to that bullshit. Because that person's a hater and that person's just trying to get away with being insensitive to other people and then blaming it on them. Kind of like I was talking about in pile 2. So if you experience that a lot, go over to pile 2. But you're very kind, compassionate, empathetic, understanding, non-judgmental. You're very loving. You may love to cuddle. You may love to go on moonlit walks. You may love to just sit and visit while you're eating your dinner with someone you love. You may be somebody who likes to write letters as well. You may leave little notes. Like say you're going to run to the store or something. You may leave them a little note saying you're going to run to the store. But you don't just leave, hey, I'm going to the store. Or you don't just send them a text message going, at the store, need me to grab something? You're like, hey, my love, I had to go to the store really quick, but I'll be back in a little bit. If you need anything, let me know. I love you so much. And you may draw little hearts all over the paper. So people really do like your childlike energy too. If you have a lot of childlike energy, your playfulness, your whimsicalness, love without condition. So you may get angry. You may blow your top. You may get upset over something somebody does. 5 minutes later, you're in their arms. After you address the issue, it's done, it's over. Now we're on to something else. You're very forgiving. You're very loving. You accept people as they are, and you love them for who they are. You bring a lot of transformations to people's lives. And people celebrate your existence a lot, whether you know it or not. People are very grateful to have you in their life. A new day dawns. Embrace spirit. So, kind of what I was just saying again. The sun will come out tomorrow. Bet your bottom dollar that tomorrow there'll be sun. So stick out your chin and grin and say, tomorrow, tomorrow, I love ya, tomorrow, you're only a day away. Some of you could have a very intense gaze too. People may really love to look in your eyes. They may get very lost in your eyes. You may have a partner that can like stare in your eyes for what seems like hours sometimes. And you're like, what are they looking at? Or something like that, but they're literally looking at your soul. Because they can see everything through your eyes. Your eyes are extremely expressive, extremely open. You're not guarded at all when it comes to the people that you love. You don't like wear sunglasses so they can't see in. You don't feel like you need to hide yourself. You don't feel like, there's anything to hide or any reason to hide it. You're a very authentic person. A very free person, a very independent person. And you believe that if today is not going good and everything seemed to go wrong today, tomorrow's a new day. So you know what? Maybe it'll get better today. If it doesn't, tomorrow's a new day. And we'll have another chance at having a better day. And it's probably going to be better because every day isn't going to be bad. You're somebody who likes to look on the bright side. You like to focus on the positive. You like to focus on the good things. And in a fight and in an argument, you're definitely somebody who checks in with your more softer and sensitive emotions. Even if sometimes it's not always the first go-to. I feel like a lot of you, I got an example for this. So, this last year I was dealing with somebody that got really pissed off and was like, I'm just going to leave then. And went to go rush out the door. And I was like, well, you know what? If you're just going to leave and we're not going to talk about this, then I guess we just don't have a relationship then. And they're like, wait, what? And I was like, or we can sit here and we talk about this instead of getting all pissed off and screaming. We can sit and talk about this. And maybe next time you can mention something about the things that are bothering you before it gets to the level of throwing a fit and leaving. Instead, you can just talk about the things that are bothering you and you can just mention them. But not everybody can do that. And you know, I feel like you've had to learn how to do that a lot in your life because you've gone through a lot of changes. You've gone through a lot of that hardship once again. You've gone through a lot of conflicts. You've gone through a lot of battles. You've dealt with a lot in your life, and you've had a lot of people around you that have had just as much trauma or abuse or just as much hardship in their lives as you have. So you've also not only learned how to deal with it within yourself, you've learned how to deal with it within other people. 11, 11, and 0. 0 to hero, just like that. You're very aligned, and you help bring others into alignment. You help others to see when they may have a problem with something and how to address it. You teach a lot of people. I feel like some of you in this pile could actually be teachers as well. And if you're not teachers in a traditional school, you might be a teacher in like a palmistry school once again, or in a Reiki school, or you may be a teacher in a masseuse style school. And even if you aren't actually a teacher in a school, you still teach everyone around you on a regular basis. 11155. And you bring transformations, changes. You bring tower moments to people. There's a lot of times people don't understand things until you state what you have to state, or until you point something out, or until you sit down and talk to them about it respectfully, because you're very respectful, you're very patient, you're very kind, you're very generous and giving with your time and your energy. And you bring a lot of peace to people's lives. You really make people feel like they are good enough as they are. Hi, John Ciel. So, we are going to get a message out of this Happy Thoughts book I got over here. Confidence is the hinge on the door to success. When you learn to believe in yourself, your world will open up to you and you will find your path. People love your confidence. And they love that you've been able to create a lot of success in your life because you found that confidence. They love that it's not something that you've always had. They love that you had to learn it, that you had to grow it, that you had to become it. Because that gives them hope, faith, and trust in the fact that they can do that in their own lives too. And that it's not something that only certain people have and other ones don't. Because they've watched somebody make it. There's a lot of people that will tell you. It's kind of like you can't teach someone empathy. Really? Because how do you think they learn it in the first place? They aren't just born with it. They're not just born with empathy. Why do you think so many abuse survivors have so much empathy? Because they were taught empathy. Because they always had to make sure to pay attention to the emotions of everyone around them to make sure that they were accommodating those emotions so that those people did not end up exploding or there wasn't bad things happening because of whatever's going on. So they were always paying very close attention to the emotions of others around them and picking up on them and feeling them. Well, there's also those ones that have empathy because their parents sit down and talk to them. My daughter, at one point in time, we were walking through this little nature area behind the park that's over here. There used to be a whole bunch of sage there, but somebody destroyed it all. It's white sage too, so, you know, whoever did that, It's a pretty cruel act. It's funny, people will be vegans or vegetarians because they don't want to hurt anything and things like that. They've actually proven that plants feel pain too. But every one of us has to eat. We need protein in our diet. Some people don't have access to protein sources besides meat, for one thing. There's better ways of doing it. There's worse ways of doing it. Having respect, kindness, and gratitude when it comes to the food you're receiving is the best way of handling that. And, if you can, it's best to do it in a humane and respectful way. But not everybody can do that either. So don't beat yourself up too much if you can't. But plants feel pain too. Anyway, we're walking through this area to go get some sage and to go check out the river back there and, check out the fairy ring that was back there that people have defaced several times too. And after people added to it, it was actually looking fucking beautiful. Somebody stuck a big old wooden beam in the middle of it and people were putting all kinds of artwork on it. It was pretty awesome. But the same people who don't like when you deface their church went and defaced the nature lovers church. It's okay to destroy their church, but not yours. Anyway, I feel like you guys may really have a lot of that in you, that empathy and that teaching of it. And you believe in that. You don't believe like 99.9% of the population that empathy can't be taught. Because otherwise we wouldn't be having all these conversations about it that we are right now. When you sit down and talk with your kids about things like that. So we're walking through this. Sorry, I got a little sidetracked there. Now I gotta find back where I was. Anyway, we're walking through here and she steps on this beehive. And I heard it immediately. And I was just like, run. I turned around, looked at her, and I was like, run. Beja, you've got to run now. And I swooped down and grabbed my little dog. And about the same time she yelped, she got stung on her little vagina. Poor little baby. And my other dog, I was like, get out of here, Sadie, go. And so she took off running, and I turned back around, and she was still kind of frozen, and they were coming up and out and coming back in an arrow towards her. And I grabbed her hand, and I yanked on her, and we ran out of there. She got stung probably a good 12 to 16 times, and she was so upset. I was trying to make her feel better. And I was like, well, think about it this way. I was like, we'll get you some medicine when we get out of here and all that kind of stuff, And I got her all calmed down, and I was like, think about it this way. At least you're alive, right? How many of their family members do you think died just now? And she's like, oh, I didn't mean to kill their family. And I was like, oh, well, I didn't tell you that so you feel bad about it. Although, it's a good thing you feel bad about it, but it is because, that's what gives you that respect for that life. But I was telling you that because they were just protecting their family. You stepped on their home, you stepped on their family, and there's this giant that came lumbering through here and just, So they're defending themselves. They're defending the ones that they love, and that's why they attacked. They weren't attacking you simply for no reason at all, you know what I mean? And that's where you find that empathy. That's where you realize that no creature on this earth is any less important than the human beings on it. They are just as important as we are, and they have families too, and they have homes too. It is a teachable thing, and sometimes people do not teach that to their kids. And sometimes people never learn it. That's very true. But sometimes the right teacher can teach people some phenomenally amazing things and turn their entire life in being around. Because they never even realized some of those things that you can teach them. And that's why people love you. Because you make them feel like they are good people. You make them feel like they can be better. And you make them feel like they're not just a lost cause. I feel like a lot of the people that you work with in that way have been left behind by others. Everyone's turned their back on them, given up on them. Everyone's told them there's no hope. They're never going to be anything more than what they are now. And you're like, wow, you are a beautiful flower. And you're going to bloom into the most amazing flower I've ever seen, I think. So we're going to put some time, effort, and dedication, faith, and persistence into this. And we're going to have you looking and smelling good in no time. Because I think you can be beautiful. And your confidence in that is something that they love too. Because it gives them confidence in themselves. So that is what I have for pile 3, guys. And usually I stop to do the questions kind of in the middle a bit too, but I was just feeling very connected to that pile at that moment. I really did not want to lose it. So thank you so much for your patience, Michelle. I really appreciate it. And thank you to each and every one of you here watching today. Thank you for all the support you send my way, the likes, shares, comments, subscribes, timestamps, donations, purchases, anything you guys do to support me in my work, and anything you do to give back to the people on here leading and guiding you. Every little bit of that makes such a big difference in all of our lives. Thank you guys so much for it. So, Michelle, should you stay in your current job or should you go to a new one? Let's see what we can get. Stay strong. We are all connected. Heed the messengers. Mother of Earth, the Goddess, Crone of Air, Earth, and Beltane. So, the decision is in your hands, and it's a hard one to make. But you need to make it free of outside interference because you're being asked to tap in to the wisdom within yourself. You're also being asked to know what your worth is, value yourself, to hold yourself in a high regard, and to know that you deserve to have the life that you want. You deserve to be paid fairly, treated fairly, and you deserve to be able to take care of yourself when it comes to whatever position it is that you're in. You do a lot. You're very wise. You're very knowledgeable. You have a very high understanding of a certain area. You have graduated levels. It's kind of like, say, when you enter into an entry-level position, okay? And you've been doing this line of work for 10 years. So you come into this new company. And you might actually be leaving an old company that you're doing the same thing in. And at this company, you let them know, hey, you know what? I'm here for 10 years. I'm training all your employees. I'm doing a lot of extra projects for you. I'm coming up with a lot of good ideas for the way we run things here. I feel like I should be being paid more. So can we work something out where you can increase my pay? I'm going to let you think about it. Because if you're not going to increase my pay, I'm going to go find a new position, and I'm going to put in my 2 weeks notice, and I'm going to transfer out of here. And it can be very intimidating going into an office and saying that to your boss. But that's what you need to do. If they are willing to pay you what you feel is your worth and value, and you've researched and you've looked and you've checked into what you could be making other places, and it'd be a new environment, it would be kind of fun and adventurous to get into something else or to go somewhere else, to be breaking up the routine a little bit, think of it as a fun adventure if you end up doing something like that, but they decide not to give you that raise. Okay, you got my 2 weeks notice. Already have your interview done before you walk into your boss's office. And when you go to that interview, just let them know, you know what, I have a job presently, and I would really love to work for your company. I still need to think about some things first, and I will give you a call back at the end of the day. Guess what? You just made them feel like, wait a second, you don't need this job, but you're very qualified for it, and I'm thinking we'd love to have you here. But I really hope you make the decision to come back. And so they're really going to be looking forward to hearing back from you, because they feel, now you've shown them that I'm a high value person. I'm in high demand. I have other options on the table over here. I have other things going on, but I will let you know what I decide on. They're like, wait, what? What? Whoa. We really want this person. This person's got a lot going on for him. There's a lot of competition to get this person. We better jump on this. We better make sure that we make a good impression, that kind of thing. But also, your old boss is now going, wait a second. Do we want to lose somebody we've had for 10 years? The person that's been training everybody that's been coming through, the person that's been doing all these extra jobs, the person that's been putting in so much time and effort, and really they have done a lot of it for a very long time without asking for much. Or do we want to give them what they've earned with their loyal service to us so that we can keep them around and continue this relationship? So stay strong, face this very strongly, and know that whatever happens is meant to happen. But I feel like that's kind of like the strategy that they want you to go with and go through. They want you to really ask yourself what it is that you want, maybe apply it a few places, let your boss know that, you know what, I feel like I deserve more than what I'm getting here, because I feel like that's a lot of what it is. You're having a hard time sometimes maybe with making sure all your bills are paid, or supporting yourself in some way, or maybe even, providing for yourself or your family. But you're going to be celebrating success at the end of this. And it's because you were telling people, hey, this is how much I'm worth, so treat me like it or lose me. And you're going to be being very confident and strong about it, because you know that you've put in the time, the effort, the energy, and you have developed your skills very fully to be receiving a much higher income if you moved somewhere else. So they can pay you the higher income, or they can lose you to the competition. I really hope that answered your question, beautiful. Thank you so much for your purchase today. Hi guys, it's nice to see you guys. I hope you guys enjoyed the video today. Thank you guys so much for everything that you guys all do to support this channel, whether it be liking, sharing, commenting, subscribing, timestamps, donations, any purchases you make on my Amazon wish list. I always love to get the gifts you guys send me, and everything else you guys send, even just the prayers and the positive vibrations. Thank you guys for it. You're welcome, sweetheart, and thank you so much too. I hope you guys all have a beautiful night or day, whatever it is, wherever you are when you're watching. Bye-bye, guys.